to a community conversation about pets. We're here tonight with our panel, which is to my left, Julie Busa, who is the Assistant Animal Control, Todd Pickett, our Animal Control, Nicole Roberts, the President of Ahimsa Haven Animal Rescue, our volunteer for Be-Positive Therapy Pets, Adriana Tardif, and she is minding Reggie, who is our therapy cat. In the audience, we also have Kathy Gogan, who is from Street Cat Angels. We are here tonight to really get the word out to our community about what is a pretty serious crisis in terms of both overpopulation of strays, lack of owners retrieving their stray or unclaimed dogs, and just way too many kittens. So I'd like to start with our animal control officers here. Can you guys describe to us the current state of things with the number of mostly, dogs and cats? You currently have a dog in quarantine, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have been unable to transfer that dog to a community outside of Fitchburg and Leominster because of the state laws as regards transfers between communities. Because Leominster and Fitchburg share an animal control, you guys go basically between the two cities. Yep. So what are we looking at in terms of numbers, in terms of animals and the state of their health when you find them?
Most of the time they're in good health.
Okay, so let's just say, like in the last month, how many unclaimed dogs have you seen?
Actually, not too many. We don't have any other than that one.
Other than that one. How about cats? Can we talk a little bit about cats?
We haven't picked up too many cats lately.
Okay, did you pick up a lot of cats over the winter?
No.
Okay. Kathy Gogan, could you just say a little bit, now because you're not on a mic, we can talk, but as Street Cat Angels, you guys are a rescue group, and I know from your postings there are a lot of cats, not just in Fitchburg and Leominster, but you guys work the region.
We work the region. In fact, we just trapped a mother and 8-week-old kitten in Fitchburg over the weekend on Saturday. And then we pick up a lot of strays. People will message us. There's a cat hanging around my house. So that's pretty much what we do. And then we do the basic TNR, where the cat is a feral. It's not social. It's not going to go to Nicole. So we trap it, we neuter it, and we just put it back where we found it. And the homeowner takes the responsibility of feeding it from then.
So the system we have is, we've actually, there have been dog officers in New England since almost the very beginning. Pound keepers date back right to the, before the founding of the Republic. But Street Cat Angels is a really significant rescue operation. I've heard both of you guys say that you're very grateful for the services they provide.
Very much.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Dan, could you put the cat pyramid up, and then we'll have Nicole to talk a little bit about that. This is a graphic for those of you at home, what you're seeing is cat pyramid, an unspayed female cat, her mate, and all of their offspring producing 2 litters per year with 2.8 surviving kittens per litter can total 1 year, 12, 3 years, 376 cats. And then it goes up from there, 5 years, 11,801, 7 years, 370,000, and then 9 years, 11,606,000. Again, this is Malthusian mathematics at its most dire. Nicole, let's get back. And do you have any comments about this cat pyramid? Is this one that you guys use as a tool to illustrate?
I do, yes. Yeah, actually, we do use the cat pyramid. Actually, Mary Taylor, who does our TNR and is a big part of our shelter with trapping here in Fitchburg, Leominster.
And quickly explain TNR. You're going to hear that a lot tonight. Trap,
neuter, return. Okay. So if the animal, like Kathy had said from Street Cat Angels, if the animal truly is feral, the cat will get spay-neutered, the cat will get ear-tipped, and it will get put out to where it came from as long as there's a feeder, somebody to take responsibility for the animal.
Is the owner, we can go back away from the cat pyramid. It is a pretty shocking thing to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. when you say return, is an owner who might be feeding a feral cat, they are then considered the owners of that cat. Is that how that works, Julie and Todd?
Massachusetts does not have that law. It would be nice, we tried, but
So basically, people, if they have a feral cat hanging around their house, they can feed it but take no other responsibility.
correct. Some towns have that in their bylaws, but none locally that I know of.
Not Fitchburg, Leominster. Okay, so I'm now going to speak just on my experience as the director of PAWSitive Therapy Pets and Community Education. I thought we needed to do this because my organization with Therapy Pets is in the schools 3 times a week throughout the school year. And when I walk into a classroom and we ask kids, if we were to knock on your door right now, the door where you go home and you sleep in that bed, would we find a mother cat and kittens? And between 1 to 3 to sometimes 5 kids will raise their hands. And then I will say, or one of us will say, do you remember when the kittens were born? Now, if you talk to a first or second grader, who knows when this happened? But the 3rd, 4th, 5th through, high school, yeah, that's for real. So at that point, we give them an information sheet and we explain that Ahimsa Haven will spay the mom and help the kittens find good homes. How many folks take advantage of that?
We actually have 3 just this week taking advantage of it.
That is great.
Yeah. And we have over 100 kittens in our care.
No.
Yes. So this is where the real problem lies. It lies with education, and it lies with, resources. I mean, if the state of Massachusetts, when's the last time you guys had a spay neuter voucher for animal control that you were able to give to an owner of a cat to get spay neutered?
I don't get too many cat. Usually it's for dogs.
Or a dog in general. I feel like the state of Massachusetts could be doing more.
Yeah, see, I send them into the state.
Yep.
And then we can wait 6, 7, 8 months before we get them back.
And that's where more of the problem lies, because people don't have the money to spay neuter, and this is just a small number that we actually hear about. I mean, there's many, many more that, again, all the work that we do on a regular basis is being undone because there's lack of resources, there's lack of money for spay neuter, there's lack of spay neuter certificates. I mean,
most of their funding comes from the license plate program. So if they
to which we are a recipient, but we received $6,800 last year. We received $1,300 this year.
Oh, my goodness.
So that goes to show you the priorities with the state and where their money goes.
Well, they're also not giving out vouchers now for owner surrenders anymore.
Oh,
Which,
really?
again, it's unfortunate. Like, this is a real problem. Like, this is the second time within a year that we've had 100 kittens in our care.
Whoa.
And 100 kittens translates to a lot of money for the rescue, a lot of expense for the rescue. I mean, luckily we have people that donate food, we do low-cost spay-neuter, but it's still an expense with the deworming and the feline leukemia AIDS tests and just everything the distemper, everything that goes along with it. It's an expense, and it could be controlled, and I think education is the key, and resources is the key, I mean, oftentimes animals will come to us through animal control, which is great, but again, it's just an extra added expense of this could have been prevented. And I feel that the state should do more to help prevent it. Working with shelters, working with reputable 501(c)(3) shelters, working with Street Cat Angels. I mean, we're in the know in Fitchburg, Leominster. I mean, Judy Reardon, thank God for her. Because she is the one that gets all these calls, because she knows all the people, she knows all the circumstances. I mean, very often animal control will get a call, and then Judy will get a call, and then we'll get the call. We all work together as a team, but I just wish that there were more education and more funding sources available, because I almost feel like maybe Fitchburg Leominster should have a separate fund for spay neuter. I know you're an independent contractor, Todd, but I know in the town in which I work, we have a local food pantry, and the town actually gives money to that food pantry because it in turn helps people within the community. So perhaps proposing something like that.
I believe that if you want to talk a little bit about Friends of, go ahead.
You just reminded me, I didn't even think about it when we were talking earlier, but Friends of Leominster-Fitchburg Animal Control is forming.
Yeah.
It's completely separate from us, but it's to assist us and the community. And I actually did talk to them about something that I saw recently on social media, a little food and pet pantry type thing. And then, you know, I'd love to do something like this, and that's a big project that's on their list of things to do. And maybe we can talk to them about, because they can raise money once they get their state licensing, about raising money for spay neuter.
Yeah.
Because I know that's something that's on their list to do too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big, huge help for the community.
Yeah, and that's very important. And
Yeah.
two, raising money for spay neuter, but a lot of people, again, I work for a municipality, I know how it works, and a lot of people don't want to give their personal information. A lot of people don't want you to know how much they make or how much they don't make.
Right.
So I think if you're going to start a program like that, you have to make it easy for people. You know, don't ask for the moon. I know that there was Sophie's Mission, and they did, you know, the food pantry, but you had to qualify, and that deters people very often. You know people that need it, you know they need it.
Right.
You know, and there are going to be those people that take advantage, absolutely, because that's just the way the world works. But it's important to make it easy for people.
Right.
And if you make it easy, they're going to do it.
They run separately from us. They have a board, just like a rescue. I thought Sam was going to try to be here tonight. Maybe she couldn't make it. She's the president of this newly formed group, Sam
No,
Green.
this is the mayor. Oh,
No,
okay,
Samantha
Sam
Green.
Okay.
But it's definitely a conversation that's going to be had. She's still waiting for the licensing to come through, as far as I know, but she's got a lot of great ideas.
Yeah, good.
So maybe you could even have a conversation with her. I can definitely give you her contact info, or give her yours.
Yep. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that takes the town the city out of it, because it's just the friends of.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Hold on, Mary. One of the elements that I think needs to be said is that before COVID, it was around $200 to $300 to spay or neuter a cat. I would hear at a veterinarian. During COVID and after, the inflation has had such an impact that I have met people at our low-cost vaccine clinic, which occurs twice a year at Fitchburg Fire Department, the Jeffrey P. Stevens low-cost pet vaccine clinic, in fact, and it's around $1,000 at a veterinarian to get a pet vaccinated. That is well beyond the reach of most folks, to be honest. So I'm very grateful that we were able to get the Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society Catmobile coming here. They're here every third Thursday, and that is $125 for a male, $175 for a female, and again, that is the Catmobile. And the Second Chance in East Brookfield does have low cost for canines. And I think that COVID really interrupted a lot of the flow, because you've seen a spike. When I looked at your statistics from your newsletter, it was kind of going like this, but then it had a very sharp rise.
Yep. Because again, lack of resources, lack of veterinarians being open, and it just kind of exploded. And we're still feeling the effects from it, quite frankly.
Well, and I think also, I've had conversations, one of the other questions I ask students is, raise your hand if you think a cat or a dog needs to have a litter before they get spayed. And a lot of kids think that, and that is absolutely untrue. It actually will set up an animal to be more likely to have, behavioral problems as well as medical problems if you don't spay or neuter. So we've had those kinds of conversations in the classrooms. We did every classroom at McKay Elementary this year. We did all the grades up at Longville. I don't know how we did it, but we did it in less than 2 months. So we're getting that word out there, and we're getting sheets out there also in Spanish. But I just think we've fallen backwards, and the crisis is unfolding around us. Are you finding that you're getting more cats with medical issues? Is that something?
Yes. Yeah, we find that definitely more medical issues for cats. So just within the last month and a half, we've gotten 4 cats from Fitchburg to which did not make it. They had to be euthanized. They were in such poor condition. And with that aside, I believe that, I know it's all about don't feed the cat, don't feed the cat, don't feed the cat, but cats need to be fed. They need to, if you have a stray cat in your neighborhood, or if you have an owned cat in your neighborhood, they're not going to show up at your door ravenous and eat all the food that's in the bowl.
Right.
They're going to eat some, hang out in your porch, and walk away. Like, you notice a pattern when you have a stray animal. 4 cats, ranging from, the kitten was, 6 months old, maybe? Yeah, 6 to 8 months old on up to, elder years. But euthanasia. I mean, Mary was involved in one of them, maybe two of them. But it's unfortunate. And I think they need to educate people in Fitchburg, Leominster, and everywhere for that matter. Like, if you see a cat that suddenly appears at your doorstep, you've never seen it before, observe it. Don't not feed it, Feed it the first day? Probably not. But if it keeps coming back to you and asking for help, yes, feed the cat. And then call someone, whether it be call animal control, call Ahimsa, call Street Cat Angels. And that way we can observe it and kind of put it on our radar, because we should not have had 4 cats pass away.
Were they from different locations?
Yeah, they were,
Yep.
I think I tracked 3 out of the 4, and they were from all over Fitchburg.
Wow.
Different ages, but they were all, by the time we got them, by the time Nicole got them, there was nothing to do. There was nothing, they had nothing left in them.
No. And it's very sad. And it's very trying for our volunteers, I mean, this is what we do. We are in rescue, and it's the good and the bad. But it was heartbreaking, and it all happened within a very short period of time. None were feral. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So very, very clearly owned cats.
Yeah, and it's people that move out of their apartments, or people that get pets that can't have pets, and that landlords find out. I mean, the saddest story was the one that Tabby cat, that sweet girl, was put out, and so was her cat tower, and she was in the cat tower by the dumpster. And so we scooped her up because she had been abandoned. It's people that move out of apartments,
Right.
that leave their animals behind, that nothing happens to them. Meeting the people.
Right. So,
That's a whole nother story. Abandonment it's a felony.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because here's the pattern that I've seen anecdotally put together. Family is evicted, so they look for another apartment. The other apartment doesn't take animals. Oh, well, so the animals get left behind, or, well, my friend said she'd take it. That story. So there's your abandoned animal, in the cat tower next to the dumpster. Folks move into an apartment. They stop paying rent, but along the way they got a cat. They got a kitten because the kids wanted a pet. So now they're in an apartment where they're not supposed to have a pet, and then the cycle is going to repeat itself. So that is awful. But let's talk to you guys about what recourses do you have as animal control officers to pursue people that are evicted from an apartment, leave a cat behind, leave a dog behind. What happens?
We have to go to the police or the MSPCA. We can't file criminal charges.
So the animal control, and this is in MGL, that you don't have those resources.
No ACO has those abilities.
No ACO has those abilities.
Not in the state of Massachusetts.
Okay. What are you able to do? Are you bringing this information forward to the police?
I did today on a case.
You did? Okay. I will be able to follow that up with the chief, because I think we probably need to have another one of these conversations. So this was in Fitchburg?
This one was Leominster.
Oh, it was Leominster, okay. Well, I can follow up with that chief, too. I have friends on city council. But I think, I know one of the other issues that you deal with are people who own dogs, that the dogs are intact, they're allowed to kind of run loose, or they escape, and then the owner doesn't claim them right away. Could you talk a little bit about those circumstances?
Again, all we're legally allowed to do is we can fine them for a leash law and an unlicensed dog. We can't force them to get them spayed or neutered.
Right. So that it's really more a societal or cultural piece, where if I had unlimited funds, I'd be doing billboards. Billboards, I think, would make, would have an impact. So now the dog that has the medical issues, who has the wound of unknown origin, so the dog needs to be quarantined, he's currently with you guys, right?
Yes.
And so his medical care, his food, the rest of it, that comes out of the line item between Fitchburg and Leominster for ACO.
For the first 14 days.
What happens after that?
Comes out of my pocket.
Comes out of your pocket. Okay, another good reason why we need to really have a Friends of Animal Control to do support. Adriana?
So I just wanted to talk about Reggie's personal story because it sounded a lot like what I was hearing with all of these cats. So Reggie was adopted by Miss Sally Cregan last year. September of last year. And he came to the shelter that he was at, and he was out in cold alone for so long that his ears got frostbitten and just crinkled up. And honestly, if he had stayed out there any longer, he probably would have been in way worse condition and may have ended up like those other 4 cats that have been sadly had to be put down because people just are too afraid to help them. Because Reggie was like a super nice stray cat. He helped other cats around him. So even when he was left alone, he still managed to be nice. And it's kind of baffling that cats can manage that, but humans can't.
Thank you, Adriana. And in fact, Reggie is next to Nicole, because when he came to you from Mary Flibbert from Worcester, he had these medical problems, and then you had him for, what was it, 4 months?
4 months he was on rabies quarantine.
He was
of unknown origin.
But he had such a nice personality that...
He was a great cat. Still is. Right, Reggie? Yeah, he's a good boy.
So I think an important point to be made about...
Mary, come here, I'm going to, you know what, we're going to pass this, here, come on up, you can take this, you can sit in your chair, totally fine, but take the mic.
I just want to make a quick point about abandonment.
Hold on one sec. Dan, is this mic'd okay? Okay, thank you, go ahead.
So the point to be made about choosing to abandon versus reaching out to the shelter, abandonment is a felony, as Nicole pointed out. Contacting the shelter and arranging a surrender doesn't come with a fee. Abandonment can
come with a huge
garner the felony
Yes.
charge and what fees those come with, but contacting our shelter, at least, other shelters may or may not charge a surrender fee.
Yeah, or contacting Street Cat Angels, whoever is easiest to contact at that point.
The part that's baffling to us is that we don't charge a surrender fee. And if we can say yes, we say yes to those requests. So finding owned cats in horrible condition is heartbreaking, just heartbreaking.
Well, I think that there's, again, when you have a pet, the pet is part of your life. And this is something that we share when we visit after-school groups, when we visit classrooms, that when an animal gets older and needs more medical care, again, it's thinking about the budgeting and, really being in it for the long haul. I also wanted to say just a couple of words. I'm the director of a therapy pet program. So if you think you have a dog or a cat or a rabbit or or even a teenager with an awesome animal, please reach out to PAWSitive on Facebook. We would love to talk to you if you think you'd be a good therapy pet person. We bring therapy pets to a variety of settings, including hospice. We'll be at the sheriff's office tomorrow. But we do a lot of our work in the schools to try to support what ACO does, what Street Cat Angels does, what Ahimsa Haven does, what all of our area rescues do, because what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing in classrooms is kids saying that they've got 3 or 4 dogs, they've got, someone, there's like 5 cats, and then there's like the neighborhood cats, and the more communication that goes on, the better.
Also, I just wanted to let everyone know that officially, as of this year, it has been 10 years where TheraPaws has been going into schools and teaching kids about cats, dogs, how to properly care for animals.
Thank you, Adriana. I can't believe it. It's been 10 years.
Todd, I do have a question for you. You said about the line item, your line item feeds an animal for 14 days. Is it Mass General Law, the $250?
Yes.
Okay, all right. What is it going to take to change that? And does that $250 come out of your budget? Or is there a separate budget?
Comes out of the animal control budget.
Okay, so it comes out of the 2 line items that you get paid through Fitchburg and through Leominster for the 2 line items on their budget. Okay. I feel like that needs to be changed because I feel like you can't get much now for $250.
That would be at the state level.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what is the $250?
They get up to $250 for care of an animal. So if they can save the animal in $250, they save it. And if they have to euthanize the animal other than that. And that's where we step in. Like the other day, we had the cat with a wound of unknown origin that came off of Fifth Mass Turnpike, where Todd paid $250 and then the shelter paid the rest. And it was like $140. And again,
Complete care, that includes all vetting.
no. That was just for a cat with a wound. Yeah, with a
But the 250 is,
Stabilize the youth.
stabilize or euthanize through animal control. Yeah. So in this case, the shelter incurred an expense that, we're all volunteer.
ACO can do.
That's all ACO can do until it gets changed at the state level. Yeah. Could you make an exception yourself, Todd?
I've done it many times.
Okay. All right. Because I just feel like, with the shelter being all volunteer run, donation driven, it gets to be with all these animals that have been abandoned. We adopt out 500 pets a year, 400 to 500 pets a year. And our medical expenses are well over $100,000 a year. So just to put it in perspective. And granted, it was just short money of the $140, but it was still $140 that was taken away from something else.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I feel that does need to be changed at the state level.
So I think that I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I also serve as a city councilor at large in Fitchburg. I have a lot of community activities that I'm engaged in, but I think it's important for our state reps and also our Senator John Cronin to hear about this, and I'll make sure that this reaches them. We've got about 4 minutes left if we want to just make it to our half hour. So I'd like to open it up to the floor, so people who've attended. Anyone have any questions for our experts here? Because you guys are experts too, actually. The audience may not be aware. So,
I'm not an expert, I'm a complete amateur, but I have a question.
Sure.
please do.
Because I know we have a problem, but all of this is fairly new to me in terms of resources. I'd like to go back and address what you're talking about with the $250. I don't understand what you're saying. You're allowed,
Yeah.
so you pick up a stray dog, and you're allowed $250?
Yeah, any dog we
To
pick
do
up,
what? What
to do any medical care for it. Generally, it's if, say we pick up a dog that's injured or something. Mass general law allows up to $250 for the state to pay for that, or the city, the town, to assist in paying for it.
And beyond that, then
It's either comes out of our pocket, donations, help from the community.
A lot of laws, and I know this from 14 years on the school committee, where we had a policy book about 4 inches thick. Laws happen in reaction to something else. So we have laws on the books that go back, again, to before the founding of the Republic. But there are also laws that don't get updated in terms of accuracy of intent or successive intent. So the $250 is just way out of line in terms of what...
I've been there all my life, and I think you can go get the toenails clipped for $250 today. So what do you do when you hit the $250 and you're not there? Then you go...
That's my biggest dilemma. Well, one of my many.
But sometimes you're taking it out of your own pocket.
Sometimes we do, or we have fundraising. We've done that.
Last summer, we had a large increase in dogs that we picked up that were medically involved, and we had to fundraise because it was surgery for these dogs. It was dogs with cancers, tumors on them, huge tumors on their neck. There were at least 4 just last summer alone.
And are those the kind of dogs that maybe were abandoned because of their need of medical care?
Probably.
Yeah. I remember being in someone's apartment once, and I try not to judge people, but there was a Chihuahua with a tumor the size of its head, and the folks who were living there they had a lot of amenities, such as large televisions, and they had, sort of current electronic devices, but the poor little animal had been unattended because, again, no regular vet visits. So I believe that animal was eventually euthanized, but I just think that the information that a pet is part of your family and needs to go to the doctor as much as you do, these are the conversations we gently have with children to bring home.
Yeah, like,
If you guys got a cat that needed that, where would that cat go?
I was just going to say that, Mary. You're right.
Needed what?
Yep. It had cancer or needed a surgery that was past your 250.
Like we said, we have fundraised, for many different animals.
So that many cats?
Most of the cats we pick up are either hit by car to where it generally isn't, or it's been abandoned in an apartment building and is usually healthy. So I can't think of any cat fundraising recently.
But a majority of the cats that you do pick up end up going to us.
More, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Would you say probably 90% or maybe even 99% of cats?
I would give you the 90,
Yeah.
most of them, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And since we're getting to the nitty-gritty, the funding of Ahimsa Haven is, how does that funding occur? The $100,000 of her annual expenditure,
So-
how is that supported?
We are a recipient of the MAC grant, which is the license plate, the spay-neuter license plate that you see on the back of people's cars. And also, we do get funding from the Robinson Broadhurst Foundation, which they're a foundation that funds both Winchington, Mass. And Stamford, New York, with different funds and different ideas and different grants that people would like to write. They've always funded our shelter. They fund everything from fire trucks to Winchton Community Park to parks up in New York to pools, community pools. So they're very much about the community and about funding a need and funding for a good cause. And then all the rest is donations.
So,
And I want to make it clear that none of our volunteers get a salary. Everybody says, oh, you must make a lot of money. Nope. Actually, I spend a lot of money. But, we are always, paying out of our pocket. Like if we see the shelter needs paper towels or the shelter needs this or shelter needs that, you just pick it up. You know what I mean? You just get it. Knowing that we're nonprofit, knowing that, you're here for the common good and you want to do a good job. And, you try to make it as easy as possible to save lives rather than worrying about the little things like paper towels.
right. Adriana?
So I have a question about how you guys fundraise. Is it just general fundraising, or do you do individual fundraisers for individual animals and note on their individual fundraisers, like what they need, how much money you're trying to get for them?
So we will do fundraisers for animals that need a lot of care. Like if we have a cat with kidney stone or with urinary stones or things like that. But for the most part, like we just did a fundraiser. We have a fundraiser right now out for kitten food to feed our 100+ kittens. Actually, we have kittens being born right now. She actually just called me. Attorney Thomason is, you guys probably know her in Fitchburg, Leominster. She's fostering for us, and we were at number 7 when I was driving here tonight. So I don't know quite how many she had. But yes, so they're giving birth to 7 more kittens, so that makes it 107. So we fundraise for specific needs like food. We had to fundraise for cages because we were low on cages at one point when we acquired the Winchington shelter. Just different things in general. And the public is very, very generous to us. They really, truly are, because they see the work that we do, and they see the work that we do with Street Cat Angels and with animal control. And, there's no selfishness whatsoever when it comes to our pets. We treat them as our own, and we do whatever we need, even though, some people might say, you know how many cats you can save with $8,000? Yes, but we can save this one cat that we're fundraising for $8,000, and you can have a good life. You know what I mean? Just an example. Sometimes the medical expenses are astronomical, but we try to save everybody and give everybody a fighting chance, there are just a handful of cats that we couldn't save over the years. And 2 were 25 years old this year.
Oh,
So
my
we're having a birthday anniversary. So.
One of the fundraisers that PAWSitive has reinstituted is Read to a Shelter Cat. So we will be doing that again on Sunday, June 30th at, I
11
believe.
to 1.
Yep, 11 to 1. And families and kids are invited to come, and you can actually climb into the kennels with some of the kitties. And again, when you read to a shelter cat, they get to spend time with a person, and the person is not directly interacting with them necessarily, but the sound of their voice, the child's voice reading, is more of a lulling voice versus conversational. So I think we had 20, almost 24 people last time.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that again in June, and we'll be doing it again probably in September. Later, I'm thinking August.
I know we talked about before the kids go back to school.
Exactly.
And then we talked about in October.
Yes,
Too. We
for
want
black
to do
cats.
like a Halloween
Yeah.
based. Yeah.
So this, and again, I know that the Friends of the Fitchburg Leominster Animal Control is also getting up and running. And to learn about that, again, Facebook, go to Leominster Fitchburg Animal Control. Do they have a page set up yet, Julie?
Friends of Leominster Fitchburg Animal Control.
Yep, Friends of Leominster Fitchburg Animal Control on Facebook. And we all can use help because we're all working towards the same place. Street Cat Angels on Facebook, and also it's streetcatangels.org, streetcatangels.org.
We are entirely donation funded. Because we're so small, we don't have the numbers to get grants. So everything we do is just funded by private donations.
Yep. Yeah, so the donations are really key because, as everyone watching has noticed, the cost of items has skyrocketed, and the same for vet care. And I do want to say something that a veterinarian mentioned to me, which is vets and medical doctors go to school for the same length of time, but their future incomes are very, very different. Veterinarians, very often, if they have their own shop, they're paying all kinds of extras for what you would have for a medical facility versus doctors who specialize in human beings. So veterinarians work very hard for what they do. And the public may not be aware of that. And another reminder that the Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society has been really great to add Fitchburg to their list of regular stops, and that is the third Thursday of every month. You pay online. So, and again, I've talked to some residents who don't have credit cards, but that's something where you can go down to CVS or Walmart or wherever, you can buy a credit card, and then you can pay for that. And I've actually helped people who don't have computers to pay because they don't have the online. So if that's your issue and you want to get your cat spayed, just reach out to me through the city council. I'm happy to help. And, we're glad to have this conversation. I feel like we've covered a lot, but what in our little bit of time left, what have we not covered?
I think we just about touched on everything with the spay-neuter, lack of spay-neuter,
Yep.
lack of education, abandonment of animals, to reach out to the shelter, reach out to Street Cat Angels, reach out to Ahimsa Haven if you're losing your home, if you have a loved one that's passed away, if you're
Yes.
going through a divorce, whatever life situation has presented itself, we will always help. We may not be able to help immediately if we're full, but we can always make provisions to help. It's just, things can get out of control quickly. People's situations and people's lives change, and we understand that, and there's no judgment passed. It happens, it's happened to all of us. So I would just say to bring awareness to spay-neuter through the Catmobile, through Sterling Shelter.
Yes.
Animal Clinic does a wonderful job with spay-neuter. Second Chance, all of your resources. What's that?
Second Chance runs voucher days through the Mass
Coalition.
Animal Coalition.
And that is free. If you see that on Facebook, get in there quick, because that is free.
Reggie, you're already neutered, honey. Thank goodness.
I'd also like to do a shout out to Broken Tail Rescue. I write 2 columns for the Sentinel and Enterprise and Lowell Sun. Pet of the Week showcases a homeless animal in a shelter or rescue, and I alternate between a few local shelters, but I focus on the ones that help this region. So I think Ahimsa is coming back up again this coming week. And I also write a column called Pet Talk. For the past 4 weeks, I have answered questions asked by children in Mr. Wierinen's 4th grade class at Rheingold School. And I have brought in the copies of those newspapers and handed those copies of newspapers to the kids in that classroom saying, look at that, you are famous because the question you asked, now I got a chance to answer it in the pages of the newspaper. So we work really hard to share information. So if you have a question about pets or animals or taking care, please reach out to me as well, because I post what appears in the Sentinel all over, and of course they have their own social media reach. I think the next meeting, I think we need to do this again, probably in maybe late August or September. And this is why I want to see about getting someone from the senator's office in here, and maybe Natalie Higgins, who's the rep from Leominster, has been great. Mike Krishmerek, our rep from Fitchburg. They're very attentive. They love animals. And I think that if we do this again, when we do this again, I think we would like to hear from what is happening on the state level, and for them to hear directly from you guys in the animal control front lines what these challenges are. Because the only way things change is by speaking up, and speaking up consistently with a voice.
Yeah, because if Ahimsa was the recipient of vouchers, we would work with the people gladly, and with Sterling or with whoever. I mean, we would do, we would be the in-between person. It's just that people have to get their pets spay-neutered. I mean, every single, Mary's got a mom and 4 kittens at her house right now. But it's like every single time that we do, it gets undone. And it's like, and this is just a vicious cycle of just spay-neuter, education, abandonment, and it's really, really sad. And it's only gotten worse over the last 10 years,
Her dad isn't at Sterling.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I before work, every single morning before work. Luckily, Tiffany lets me drop off before anybody else. And I get up super early. I load up as many cats will fit in my car. I go to Sterling and drop them off. And that's the highlight of my dad's day, is picking up the cats from Sterling. But for spay-neuter, we had 11 go down. Granted, a lot were kittens, but we had 11 go down in one visit. And, that's a lot of cats. And that's a lot of expense. And that's just a lot of just... and we're all volunteer. So again, it's
11 times 12 every week.
Yeah.
That act.
Yeah.
Making babies.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just, and it's on top of that, it's vet visits with our local vet. It's medications. I invite you to hang out with us for a week, take a shelter shift. We have one available. And just see what it is that we do, and it's a lot of work, it's a lot of work, and it's emotionally exhausting at times, because you just see all these animals that come in and they are truly abandoned, and they are sad, and they have lost their owners, and they're just downright, they're malnourished, they're sickly. And I mean, just the turnaround, the reward from seeing the turnaround of that animal is just phenomenal. Just seeing, like Laura just had a cat in foster, and I don't know if you saw him on Facebook, the one with the black face that was all looked like he had ringworm or something like that. It was furs missing, and he looks fantastic. Went to the vet today. Laura adopted him out. So again, it's just all that love and all that care that our volunteers give really truly makes a difference. So and we're very blessed to have the public's help and support with what we do, because it certainly is not easy. It's not easy, and like I said, it's emotionally trying at times, a lot of the time lately, because we just get some really, really sad cases,
Well, exactly, and I think what you said about the emotions, again, animals are mammals. Animals have emotions. And we, as human beings, have lived with dogs for tens of thousands of years. We have bred dogs for the purpose of tasks that we need, or, other kinds of jobs. So guard dogs, retrieving dogs, hunting dogs. We've developed those over tens of thousands of years. Cats it's a slightly different story because they have lived alongside us, but not really with us until the time of the Egyptians when we started settling down and stopped being migratory. And so you can have a feral cat within a generation, whereas there's a feral dog is not, that's a different, I mean, there aren't, unless like wild dogs. So the dangers, again, with people leaving an apartment, leaving the animal behind, unfixed, that beautifully domesticated, lovely kitty mama can have a litter of kittens, and if they are not found early enough, and Kathy Gogan and Judy Reardon know this well, because if you get alerted and those kittens have kind of grown up a bit and are running around and, you know, they're true kittens versus tiny kits, they need more care, right?
They become feral.
And if they're not trapped and they have a litter of kittens, then you've got that feral cat.
There's no coming back from that. If you're an adult feral cats, I know from having grown up with many cats in a barn in Lunenburg, at one point a cat did have a litter off-site, and we had a feral cat for many, many years, and he never quite trusted. So,
one thing I did want to talk about is telling the difference between a abandoned / stray cat and one that has a home but is allowed outside. Because if you call animal control or bring a cat that has an owner into a shelter, that's just adding unnecessary cats and burdens on those people that could be avoided. And whoever owned that cat could lose that cat and could be very sad about that.
I was just going to say.
Oh, thank you. Yes, let's talk microchips.
I wish more people would microchip their cats, because if it's microchipped, it's going to get home right away.
Can you define a microchip for those who may not be familiar?
Microchip is just it's inserted with a needle in the back of the neck. It can migrate anywhere throughout the body, in the back of the neck, and you use the special scanner that Animal Control has, all the local vet's office has, we have them, and you just scan the cat over. The chip number will tell you what company puts out the chip. You call, and as long as the owner has kept everything up to date and registered with their current information, the cat will be reunited. Do you remember the cat that fell in the Nashua River years ago? Remember he was on the front page of the Sentinel?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so he was reunited because of a microchip.
About the size of a piece of rice.
Yeah, it's like literal size of a piece of rice, basically.
I do want to say, Adriana, you bring up a really good point. I know that there are some individuals out in Fitchburg, and probably Leominster too, who think they've seen a stray cat and are in the habit of kind of setting up these so-called feeding stations. And I know from talking to Kathy, I did a whole series of columns about this, that if you don't know if the cat is owned, you do have to observe it. So Nicole's comments about observe that cat. What happens if you put that feeding station out and you just fill it up and you are not trapping a cat, a specific cat, then you are inviting wildlife and you are luring owned cats possibly across busy roads and so forth. There's been a nuisance situation over at the ADAP on John Fitch Highway where some individuals have put like full bowls of cat food out there with water and like a little Tupperware bin. I've been all over Fitchburg. I've seen similar setups, and I wrote about them over the winter, that this is not helping cats. This is encouraging wildlife, which may be rabid, because we still have rabies in Massachusetts since 1992, 10,000 cases of rabies. That's a lot of rabies. And it is not something that it helps anyone, especially.
Wildlife, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead. Here.
Wildlife into communities.
Yes.
So they might not have had foxes or coyotes or whatnot, but if there's cat food, and if there's cats, well, then these animals are going to start coming in and being a nuisance.
That's exactly right. That if the food gets eaten and you're not there to see who's eating it, it could well be raccoons, it could well be foxes, and it could well be animals that are a danger to those owned animals, to cats that are indoor, outdoor, small dogs, what have you. And that's a problem. also that amounts to littering. So we have ordinances against littering, and if people are doing this on their own yards, please ask yourself, you want to feed your cat inside. You do not want your cat, if it's an indoor-outdoor cat, to be in the habit of, I can stay out all night, that's cool, I am not expected home. If you feed your cat outdoors, that's what they get used to. Right, Reggie? Reggie's getting rearranged.
Says nope.
No, he's just there. All right. Well, we'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight for this. And if folks are at home are viewing, can we put up?
So
Go ahead.
may I add one more thing to the
Please
feeding?
do.
And the feeding stations, while I do agree with luring wildlife, foxes, bears, I mean, there was a bear in my neighborhood today, and I was outside, but very interesting. It was a baby bear. But if you're going to be feeding, if you do have a feral cat station, stay with it, right? I mean, just monitor it, stay with it, take the food away at night so you're not luring. But I mean, that could be the difference for a cat between life and death. Either having that feeding station or not having that.
Right.
It's like us relying on going to Market Basket and getting food.
Yes.
I mean, that could be the cat's only meal. That could be its last meal. You don't know. But I think it's important to, again, if you see a stray, feed a stray and then call somebody for help. Don't just let it keep going on for years and years and years. Do something about it.
Yep.
Be proactive and don't let things happen, for 6 months, 8 months, a year. Feed them, observe them. Mary keeps a running list on her clipboard of who's who. She identifies each cat. I don't know how she does it, but she does. Just to see who comes, who goes, set up trail cams, but leave it to people that kind of, in a sense, know what they're doing, know what to look for, have experienced this, have an experience in feeding stations, and let's get these cats off the streets, really, so this just doesn't go on forever. Or get them TNR'd and get them put back, knowing that they'll be a responsible party. Yeah. I don't think taking feeding stations away is the answer. I think being smart about it and doing it and monitoring them is the thing to do.
Take it away at night.
Yeah, take it away at night.
Responsible about
Yeah.
it, knowing what you're feeding. You don't just put food down and walk away.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if the food is down there, you need to come back before dusk and take it away. Otherwise, the many nocturnal wildlife will, start making a habit of showing up.
Exactly.
That goes a long way toward keeping it clean as well. You walk away, leave it, and then it's
So we've put up our cat pyramid again, so the public can see that your cat that you may, oops, it went outside, you didn't get it spayed yet, and it has kittens. And then if you decide you're going to give those kittens to a friend versus maybe getting over to Ahimsa Haven because they will spay the mom cat and they will find good homes for the kittens whom they do medical care for and spay and neuter, you are interrupting this process. By spaying your cat, by neutering your male cat, you are going to prevent that pyramid from happening. And that is going to make a difference because, again, unowned animals live horrible lives. Really, really heartbreaking lives. And I thank Mary Flibbert for adopting Reggie, who has sat his name up at Ahimsa Haven for people watching. It was Clark. So we do a lot of postings so the volunteers can see that he's living happily ever after in the lap of luxury and meeting so many people, and he's so good to everyone, which is great. But I'd like to thank FATV for making the time for this presentation. We will meet again in late summer, early fall. We will be reaching out to our sort of legislators to get them to sit at the table with us, and we will continue the education process. And please visit Ahimsa Haven on Facebook and Leominster-Fitchburg Animal Control on Facebook, Street Cat Angels on Facebook, PAWSitive also on Facebook. And if you didn't write all of any of this down, I'm Sally Cragen, a city councilor. Reach out to me and I will connect you with everyone right away.
We also have a new PAWSitive TikTok account too. So if you have TikTok, go and check that out.
Thank you, Adriana.
Ahimsa has TikTok too.
Oh, Ahimsa has TikTok too. Oh, and so does Leominster. Oh, we're all in the 21st century.
And Lauren does a great job with our TikTok.
Excellent.
Yes, she does.
All right, well, Dan, thank you very much. Everyone at FATV, thank you. And if you've got a pet at home, give them a nice big smooch, because we appreciate you listening to our conversation, and tell your friends. It will be rebroadcast on FATV, and that's easily found online. Good night, everyone.